Thank you, Mary. Good evening, students, future students. My name is Dr. Yvette Lafayette. I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Programs at LMU in the School of Education. Welcome. Thank you for taking time to be with us this evening. So, moments of crisis reveal a lot about who we are as human beings. The pandemic has showcased the deep divides in our society, as well as the beautiful possibilities of humanity, compassion, and agency. As a faculty member and an associate dean, I witnessed firsthand how we, the School of Ed, revealed our true selves during one of our most difficult and challenging times as a community. Teaching got tough, directing programs got tough. Our students experienced tougher situations out in the field than they had ever experienced before. They faced and continue to face illness, death, trauma, poverty, racism, broken schools, and broken institutions on the daily. My perspective around education has deepened amid the pandemic. In fact, I used to believe that education was just the relationship between a teacher and student. If I took a group of kids out and sat under a tree and had some really good readings, I could call it education. No university required. But like I said, my perspective deepened. I realized education, the School of Ed, is so much more when we consider the whole person.
My kids actually told me, Mom, you know, if there's ever an apocalypse, we know where we're going. And I'm like, who thinks of these things? And they said, we're going to go hide out at LMU. I said, LMU? And they were like, yeah, we know all the places to hide, because they had spent so much time there roaming around the campus. They knew every nook and cranny. And they said, you know, if anybody stops us and says, hey, what are you doing here? They'll go, well, we're just waiting for our mom. She's in class. She'll be right out. And they figured they could do that for 6 months a year and that they would be safe at LMU. But that's kind of a testament to how they felt about being there. They felt like if everything went to hell, LMU would be the place where they would be safe. I think that says a lot.
Joan Wicks, a class of 2015 graduate of LMU School of Education doctoral program, is the mother of Amanda Gorman, the 22-year-old youth poet laureate who recited at Joe Biden's presidential inauguration.
We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is.
We had to do a lot of written reflections, and I took these very, very seriously, and I put really personal information out. And I had a professor at the time, Jill Bickett, who read over them and gave me feedback, and just the care and concern she displayed. And I would just call it just flat out love, because that's the kind of person she was. Really helped me get through some very difficult times. I'd even call them dark times. Two other professors I had that were my dissertation chairs were Marta Baltodano and Yvette Lafayette. They were critical in shaping my thinking and probably my children's thinking, because they radicalized me in terms of understanding social justice in its totality and in its various parts. So I am forever grateful to them. And, you know, I just received an amazing education at LMU.
I have no doubt in my mind that our faculty and staff rock. Our staff, the folks who advise, coordinate, direct, assist, will unconditionally embrace you. They will say, hey, we're glad you're here. We're honored you've chosen us. We're going to get you through this. Our staff guide you and support you always. Our faculty will embrace your brain cells. We're bold and unapologetically in our pedagogy. Our commitment is to walk alongside you as you pursue your own intellectual path. On top of all of this awesomeness, we have high-profile researchers as well. I want to highlight two. We just have so many good comments about our faculty and staff. All right, Kyo, I'll start with Kyo. Kyo is definitely a rock star in her field. Her work is the embodiment of practice. She has supported school sites in continuous improvement processes in her district leadership roles for San Diego Unified School District and Long Beach Unified School District. Her recent work examines ethnic studies course taking in LA Unified. Alongside her partners at UCLA, she is part of a large collaborative research team supported by the William T. Foundation. Next, we have Joy, who recently published a policy brief through Harvard's Immigration Initiative on the impact of immigration enforcement on teaching and learning. Joy's work focuses on students in high poverty schools. Many hundreds of her respondents in schools across the US reported that their immigrant students were terrified that families and friends, and occasionally they themselves, would be picked up by ICE. 90% of admins reported observing emotional and behavioral problems among our immigrant students. These powerful findings point to how anti-immigration policies affect the teaching and learning of our students in the classroom. On top of our amazing staff, teachers, and researchers, we also offer transformative educational experiences. We have faculty who roam the globe, who understand the importance of global citizenship now more than ever. Check out some of our frequent flyers. Dr. Vicki Graf. Last March, Dr. Vicki Graf took 14 Catholic school principals and LA Archdiocese administrators to Northern Ireland to study shared education and inclusion of students with disabilities. They met with researchers at Queen's University Belfast, the Northern Ireland Minister of Education, and Catholic and Protestant school admins and students. Inclusion in Catholic schools is still in its infancy in the US and in Los Angeles, and the group saw its implementation in the schools in Northern Ireland. The group continues to meet and discuss the lessons learned from the trip. We also have Dr. Edmundo Litton. Under Dr. Litton's leadership, a commitment to educational equity brought together two organizations from different continents. The School of Ed and Teach for the Philippines partnered up so teachers, US teachers and teachers from the Philippines could exchange best practices. Our teachers would wake up at 3 a.m., head out to schools to co-teach and work in classrooms with amazing kiddos outside of Manila. To this day, we still hear our former students recount how transformative the experience was. But you don't have to travel the globe to have an impact. Even what you produce in your classes in the School of Education can create real change. Several of our MA programs offer research capstone experiences. Brian Twarek completed a research capstone in his MA program to investigate the intersection of gender and computer science. His research formed the basis for policy work in San Francisco Unified, making San Francisco Unified the first large urban school district in the US to implement computer science education for all K-12 students. He continues to serve as lead writer for the K-12 computer science framework and co-chaired the development of the California's computer science standards. This year, School of Education Dean Michelle Young instituted the first School of Ed committee in diversity, equity, and inclusion. She also created the first associate dean position dedicated to DEI. I am very pleased to introduce our esteemed associate dean, Dr. Will Perez.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our open house. It's so great to see so many eager faces and potential LMU Lions. And thank you for considering, our programs. And I just want to take a few moments to talk to you about our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion in the School of Education. We have two major approaches by which we do this work. We have my position as Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and we have a committee, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Action Committee, or the DAC, as we call it, that drives a lot of this work. And on our DEI website, you will see examples of the kind of work that we're doing. And one of the ways in which student input and student voice informs that work is through participation in the DAC. The DAC has two student members that work alongside faculty and staff to create the programming and initiatives that we focus on every year. And more importantly, there are two main things that we're doing this year. We're doing professional development activities for faculty and staff to empower them to infuse the courses, the content that is included in classes, to help you understand how to be an anti-racist educator, an educator that works for social justice, be it in the position of a school leader, counselor, or a teacher. The other piece, in addition to the professional development workshops that we have, is a lecture series that is intended to connect directly to the content of courses and to extend this commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Can I get the next slide, please? So here's an example of the lineup that we have for this semester. You are all invited to attend these sessions. And so I'm going to pop into the chat the links to register for them. And you can consider this as an extension of LMU SOE preview experience. You can see what our focus is about in regards to diversity, equity, inclusion. You see here on the chat from the titles of the talks by these upcoming presenters, Dr. Bettina Love on Monday, March 15th, and Dr. Tyrone Hauer on April 15th, that this is the focus, this is the work. And if you decide to come and join our programs, this will be a signature feature of your experience in the School of Education. So with that, I turn it back to you, Yvette. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. So it is my pleasure and honor to introduce Stephen Fuller, who will talk about the first Black Student Graduate Association here in the School of Education. Stephen?
Thank you. I wanted to thank everybody for coming, and congrats on investing in your future. So yeah, my name is Stephen, and I'm actually a second year student in the school counseling, PPS, and CWA program, and I will be graduating next year. I am very thankful and excited to be a graduate student, a research assistant, graduate teaching assistant, and the co-president of BGSA, Imani. So we are currently a new association, and we are centered in the SOE department with hopes of eventually expanding school-wide. And we created this association to help graduate students who identify with the Black culture to feel welcome and comfortable, and provide a space where we can be involved and impact the university. Our goal and what we provide is a leadership board dedicated to empowering the Black graduate community, providing a safe space to support each other, and to ultimately connect our members with networking opportunities that include alumni, staff, faculty, undergraduates, and working professionals in their selected fields. We are also excited to continue to grow, and we look forward to connecting with you all, being there for support as needed. I also wanted to introduce some of our other board. We have Morgan, she's our treasurer. I'm not sure if she's still on, but if you are, Morgan, if you can pop in and say hello.
Yes, hello everybody and welcome. Glad to see so many faces here today.
And then we have Jessica, who's our social media specialist.
Good afternoon. I'm Jessica. I'm also in my second year of the school counseling with PPS program. I will add in the chat our Instagram page. We do try to stay abreast with the various events that we think might be of interest to Black graduate students, as well as alumni, faculty, staff, and undergrads as well. And we are here as a board to support the students, but and available for any questions that you have as well. Welcome and thank you.
Yes, and we just wanted to open it up. If anyone had any questions as far as like, you know, what it's like to be a student or to be a part of an association or to participate, we wanted to open it up.
Okay, well, you know how to contact Stephen, Morgan, and Jessica. I thank you three for making time to share the powerful work and the powerful space that you're providing for all of our students. Thank you so much. So this concludes our intro for the School of Ed open house. We're going to give you a 5-minute break so that you can go ahead and check in with your programs. Again, thank you for coming. If you have any questions, you know where to reach us. It will be a complete honor if you make the decision to attend LMU. Thank you.